Well, good morning, everyone. We are in the beautiful 270 venue on the Odyssey of the Seas with cruise director Mitch. And
Hello.
he has agreed to talk to us for a few minutes about his job and about Royal Caribbean. So let's get started. Mitch, thank you again for agreeing to do this. And we're following the health and safety protocols, so we have masks on, but we'll have some pictures of Mitch along with this video so that you get a good look at what he looks like, because he's a good-looking guy.
Well, thank you.
So you've been on the Odyssey of the Seas since it started this year?
I've been on Odyssey since middle of October.
Okay.
Yeah, so earlier in the year I was on the startup team. I joined Quantum of the Seas in January, and that ship launched I think in late November, early December, so I went there just after it launched, and I was on board until the end of June. So that was the only ship sailing for Royal Caribbean.
So you were the first cruise director on sailing with Royal Caribbean.
I was, yeah, I mean there was a couple before me when they did the launching, but when I was on there, I was the only cruise director in the company sailing.
Yeah.
And that was a very special feeling.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so.
That's a tribute to your capabilities, for sure.
Thank you.
How long have you worked with Royal Caribbean?
So 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
so.
don't look old enough to have.
Well,
been there
thank
that
you,
long.
but that's the mask helping me look younger, I think. Yeah, I started in 2004
On what ship?
on the Sovereign of the Seas.
Wow.
So if you're a cruiser for a while,
Yeah.
Crown and Anchor member, you know that ship. That was back in the day when the Ship Shape program used to be
Yeah.
all the rage. Remember that?
I
yes,
remember
yes,
that.
we do.
Yeah, we started on the Nordic Prince in 1980.
Wow.
And we had a assistant purser, you might know who it is, that was on that ship when we sailed on her. His name is Michael Bailey.
Oh my goodness. Wow, yes.
And then we had a bingo caller on that ship, and you might really know who this is, Ken Rush.
Oh my goodness.
So
Yep. I've seen pictures of Ken Rush in those years. He was quite the handsome guy, right?
Oh,
He
yeah.
still is. Come on. He still
yeah, everybody still is. So we got started, just so you know why we're doing this. Why did we, stalk you, follow you around and ask you to do this? Dennis and I couldn't cruise for a long time like everyone else. And so we started watching YouTube videos, and we found that there were a lot of people doing videos about cruising. And we said, oh, this is really cool. We would, every Sunday morning, we would watch certain people, follow certain people. And after doing that for about 6 or 8 months, Dennis says, oh my God, we got to do this. And I say, oh no, we don't want to do this. That's a lot of work, it's a lot of hassle. But we started doing it, and we don't have a lot of subscribers. We're not very good at it and all the rest. But what we wanted to do was chronicle our quest to get from the 400 whatever points we had when cruising stopped to get to Pinnacle. And fortunately, Royal Caribbean stepped in and offered double points and did all kinds of things. So that really got us very excited about cruising again and doing the videos. So we've been on a whole bunch of ships ever since we were able to start sailing again. And we decided to start interviewing people who were Pinnacle, who were employees, who were Diamond Concierge, Suite Lounge Concierge, cruise directors, all kinds of different people to get their opinion and experience about all these things that have happened in these last 2 years. So that's why we've been kind of following you around, trying to get some time with you to talk to you about this. So you had a lot of time when you weren't able to work. Were you doing something for Royal Caribbean at that point in time since March of 2020?
Yeah, good question. And first of all, I think you guys are doing a great job. You know, everybody starts somewhere, and we only get better as we progress, right?
Yes.
So with the technology and the, our editing skills get better. What I actually was doing with a fellow cruise director, it was the guy I took over for, Mike Sokowski.
Right.
We had a podcast. It's a Cruise Life Experience. So we did a series. You never know if we're going to start a second series, but we did a limited series there, which was really fun. We talked to some people in the industry and our friends and other cruise directors. It was more of a behind the scenes that I think more crew members might have listened to, because it was more stories. However, guests that have been around and remember some of the old names really, I think, enjoyed it as well. But
how could we find that?
Oh, you could find that on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you can get your podcasts.
Okay.
Cruise Life Experience. And we did interview some really great
We'll
legends.
check that out.
We interviewed some great legendary cruise directors like Richard Spacey, one of the Royal Caribbean favorites in the old days.
Sure.
So yes, and so I left Anthem of the Seas in January of 2019. Or,
Yeah,
Great.
2020.
Yeah, and I was supposed to go back, and that's when everything kind of went down. So I didn't get to go back, and I was off for almost 12 months.
So you didn't work at all?
I didn't. No.
Oh my goodness.
So because all the ships, I was supposed to go back, and then because the borders in Canada, everything shut down. I didn't get to leave. And I would have been on the Anthem of the Seas as it sailed all the way to India, where we took all the India crew and dropped them off. So I would have been there until something like June or July, but I was at home, and
you were on vacation.
essentially, I will tell you, we work, anywhere between 4, 6, 7. Some crew will extend up to 10 months, and so when you're doing that for 16, 17 years, when you get the opportunity to then be home, it's actually, it's one of those where you try to make the best of a bad situation.
Sure.
And that's what I did, and it was nice to be home. I just bought a house, so in September earlier the previous year, so it gave me an opportunity to, some of the old skills that I thought I had, and landscaping skills and home improvement skills, and spending time with family, and I have a dog, so it was just, I was not able to work and do what I loved, but able to find a passion somewhere else while I was waiting for the chance to come back, which I got on the Quantum, and I left home December 27th, 2 days after Christmas, and then to go over to Singapore.
That's great. So you got an opportunity to spend some time, quality time at home, which ended and you were back on the Quantum, and that's really cool because that was the first ship that was sailing after this whole pandemic situation. And what percentage of passengers did you have on the Quantum when that first started up?
Well,
like 20 or 30%?
It ranged, yes, it depended. So the Quantum was only supposed to do a short season, and then of course things were delayed, and then what we realized was that we were making some great accomplishments, and Singapore did this as a trial, and they were very happy, I believe, with the situation and how the health and safety protocols were implemented, and there was 0 cases, and remember that was before anybody was vaccinated.
Right,
0
that was way
cases.
before,
The protocols and the testing was fantastic. Royal Caribbean just with the Healthy Return to Sail panel, and it did a great job. So they extended our season, and Singapore was happy to, and the guests in Singapore kept wanting to cruise because there was not really anywhere else to go, right?
There was nothing else to do,
We
right?
made a joke
So
about
they
it,
just-
and we kept having guests.
cruising.
We were, I think,
Repeat, how many repeats?
we had quite a few that would keep coming back if they could, because we were doing 3 and 4 day cruises, so some people could get away for a few days, and some people might be working on the ship, but it was a nice time to get away with your friends and family even for a couple days. And there's a lot of expats in Singapore, so a lot of them love to cruise. So we were, I want to try to remember, I think there was a couple cruises where we were upwards of 2,500, maybe up to 3,000, and some cruises as low as just under 1,000. And it's a different experience when you're on the ship. It's kind of like you own the ship, right?
Yeah,
So
we found that when we first started. It was like having a private yacht to a certain extent. You didn't have to wait for elevators. There were no lines to do anything, to get into a venue and watch a show, or go to a place where there was an activity like trivia games or karaoke or something going on. that, but then you also missed the opportunity to meet more people
Yeah.
and get acquainted and share stories and share experiences about cruising, because that's why we all do this. We do it because we love it, and we do it because we love Royal Caribbean, which is the other facet of what we're doing. A lot of the people that do these videos on YouTube talk about all the different cruise lines, and they're more involved in the travel agency side of things, or have personal reasons why they like to go on multiple different companies type ships. And with us, yeah, and we do it because we love Royal. We're shareholders. We're very loyal to Royal, and excited about getting to the point where we can turn Pinnacle. So you started working for Royal 18 years ago. How did that happen? How did you decide to join a life where you're never home?
Right. For most people, I will tell you, I think it's a similar story. You don't expect it to happen.
Yeah.
And I'd never been on a cruise in my life.
Wow.
I'd never known anything about a cruise ship ever. I finished school, I went to college, I studied marketing, business marketing, and I was working in entertainment in a way. I was working in radio and promotional at nightclubs, and I loved...
What did you do in radio?
Well, I started in promotions, so I studied marketing, so I was in the promotions team, and I was going to special events and concerts, and I would be part of the...
Putting contests together.
Promo, we call it the promotions
Yeah.
team. And very inexperienced, but in your early 20s and just having fun.
Yeah.
So I wanted to travel, and through college there was a company advertised. I'm from Ontario, Canada, so I think it was Burlington, and it was a cruise dream job website. And most of those cruise line jobs back in the day, or advertisements, you had to pay a fee and you had to do this, and just didn't, weren't sure. But this company, there was no charge. You could apply. The cruise lines would pay for the travel agents to recruit people.
Yeah.
And this was through my college, so it looked like a really great possibility. So I thought, I have no idea what this is, I'll just apply. And I got offered an interview. And I had to, in those days, there was no, video, not even Skype in those days. So I drove a couple hours to Toronto to do an interview. And in those days, the recruiter flew from Miami to do the interview, and there was a few of us there. And they said, okay, thank you for the interview. And I got a phone call saying that I passed the interview and I would get a job offered to me at some point. However, it could be 6 months away because there's only so many ships in 2004 and there's only so many positions. There was only 4 cruise director staff at the time. Well, I hung up the phone and I was happy because I was still working that job. And but then 15 minutes later, the phone rang again. And they said, oh, actually, there's a spot that's open. Can you come on Friday? And that was like 6 days away.
Yeah, so you had like less than a week's notice.
And I couldn't. I was like, oh, I can't. That's amazing, but I had 3 jobs at the time. I loved what I was doing. I said I would need at least 2 weeks to quit my jobs and prepare to come. Okay, thank you. And I was, wow, I can't believe that. And then 20 minutes later, without a joke, they called me back. Okay, you leave 2 weeks today. I didn't even have time to think about it. I had said yes without realizing it, and that was the end of it. And that was it. And I was on the ship. And once you come on the ship, whether you've cruised before or not, as so many cruisers, you become addicted to it. The lifestyle, the people, as you mentioned, meeting people changes your life and opening your eyes to different cultures, and it's just amazing. So being able to travel and save money, once you do a couple contracts, and you're like, oh, maybe I can go to Alaska, maybe I can go to the Mediterranean, maybe I can go here. So it's the same how we feel as the guests who are cruising to these destinations. So yeah, it becomes addictive. And then if you have a drive to move up, Royal Caribbean is the best when it comes to promoting from within. We want to promote from within. And there's so many opportunities, as you mentioned, Michael Bailey, going from a purser to the very, very top echelons of the company. And anything's possible. So yes,
And
it's
Ken Rush too.
and Ken Rush, he was my cruise director, so he's still my boss in Miami, and it's fantastic. So it's a really cool experience, and so that's kind of my story. And a lot of people have similar paths, and once you do it, it's hard to walk away. The crew have a funny saying, and I'll share it. It's everyone you might hear people say, "Oh, it's my last contract." It's a joke. No one really means that,
Yeah,
because
no.
you might go off and take a break, but the sea, as the Royal Caribbean used to have a commercial, the sea is calling,
Yes.
and it is.
Yes.
And you know, it's a special place to be.
It's a wonderful opportunity to see the world and to meet a lot of people and to do what you love, because it's so obvious that everyone on the Odyssey of the Seas absolutely loves what they do. I think the management from the captain down all have that same feeling, and they broadcast it to everyone. You can tell the difference, and occasionally you'll be in an environment, whether it's working with a business or traveling or on an airline or a cruise ship or anything else, and you can just tell if something's off, because you know that the leadership is not respected and not followed by all the people underneath them. Not true, and I don't think I've ever experienced on Royal Caribbean that negative kind of situation.
I think one or two.
The captains for the most part, they have different personalities, but they all take care of their people. They're loyal to the people. They want them to succeed, and that just gives everybody who comes on board to travel, to take a vacation, that experience that they never forget, and that makes them want to come back. I mean, when you think of how many Crown and Anchor Club members there are, and all the people that are loyal to Royal, it's amazing. And it's all because of what all of you do, and you make that experience so wonderful for everybody.
Thank you. And it's true. It's very rare where it's not gelling, and everyone works very hard, and you're away from home. This is our home, so
Yeah.
it feels that way. And I mean, you can't do it if you don't love it and believe in it. So that's why it takes a special person to be here, and that's why I think we all work so well together.
I totally believe that, and I really appreciate your time today, Mitch. And I don't want to. I know you have a lot of stuff going on. Your typical day, you're on TV, you're in the stateroom on everybody's television doing your show that I know you don't do first thing in the morning. And then you have all these activities all day long. You have a bunch of people working for you that are running games and contests and all kinds of activities. So you have a full day, and I really respect how much time you spend doing what you do. So I don't want to take up a lot of it. But again, I want to thank you, and I just have one request. If you would please tell our viewers that it would be nice for them to subscribe to Cruising with the Ryans.
Yes, subscribe, like, and of course to Cruising with the Ryans as they make their journey to Pinnacle. So subscribe, like, and comment too, right?
Oh,
because
yeah.
maybe comments and
all of that,
suggestions,
yes.
but yes, and it's really fun to follow different people on their journeys around the world on our ships, and especially this journey is special on your way to Pinnacle. What's the estimated timeline for Pinnacle? Do we have one?
Yes, February of 22.
February of 2022 on board
Vision.
Vision of the Seas, classic, the Vision class.
Yeah, and that's because we had two cruises that were supposed to be this year in 21 in February that we lifted and shifted, and then we filled in between to get to that.
We used to always do the serenade.
Yeah,
in
we
February.
we often cruised in February because that was a great time. We're from Chicago, so it was
Oh, nice.
a great time to
Yeah.
get away from the winter and get away from work for a little while. And so we would cruise that time of year, February, March, something like that.
Yep.
And so we kept booking and rebooking, and we often were on the Serenade, but itineraries change. And so
Yep.
this particular year in 21, it was Division, and it's also going to be 22 Divisions. That's
Very
what'll
cool.
happen.
Well, we'll
And
look
we're
forward to
excited.
seeing you next time on the ship as Pinnacle members.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah, for
again,
sure.
thank you. I appreciate it. It's been fun to share some memories as well.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for your time, Mitch.
Yes.
Live from the wonderful Odyssey of the Seas. This is Dennis Dennis Ryan of Cruising with the Ryans, pushing Paul from the 170
270, stop